because anywhere precaution is definitely a healthier option, but over precautionary could make us anxious as well. So there is a thin borderline and thin balance, so to speak. And I personally believe, or I won't say believe per se, but I think that most of us are already infected. I try to behave as if I am infected and get the hell out of anyone else's way. So when I interact with people, which is not as much, I just go once in a while to get some grocery or something if I'm short on that. But other than that, I don't even leave my place, and it's been days. And even if I do go to grocery store, I just keep my safe distance. And I hope like people who have to go out because of job and other reasons, at least they follow the basic precautions so that not only they infect themselves, but also they don't infect someone else. Uh, but it's been so many days since this self isolation that I lost count, seriously. And honestly, a lot of it is also because of how my days has been spending for the past week or so. Um, and in a way, it's depressing for sure, especially when I'm living by myself. It's not just about self isolation only. It's also sort of dealing with loneliness. And the best part of today's, or the time we are living in, is that communication is so much easier that I can just pick up my phone and have a conversation with anyone. And so I'm having conversations with my parents every single day, or almost every day, with my siblings, with my other friends, and that kind of helped me personally to cut down in this loneliness, especially dealing with this self isolation. Uh, During normal times, I go out and do different things, especially open mic. That's my way to let go of the stress and whatnot. So open mic comedy is the best way ever, hands down. But since now that I'm in lockdown and I don't have any uh, family member or any girlfriend, then I have to basically self isolate myself and deal with this loneliness as it is right now. And plenty of times I watch something which is helpful, not just the social media and news and politics, which actually has you know which took me in this downward spiral. So I'm trying to avoid that starting from today, because for the past week I've been just watching on this news and different events, and that's kind of like a downward spiral. Trust me on this. So the better way is to maybe just limit down what I'm feeding in, not just diet, but also information. So, and on top of that, I have to complete reading a book or two as well. So there's a lot of things which I need to already take care of, and but this social isolation is has driven me to just consume media, some sort of movies, TV shows, news, and you name it. And it's definitely not the healthiest feed for sure. And I also observed that because of that, or I don't know if that's the primary reason, but I haven't meditated in a while. But to be honest, like I meditate almost every day just by being mindful, as well as, when I'm lying um, on my bed, about to go to bed, I, meditate for a few minutes, but it's not enough. Especially when I was on an upward trajectory of meditating every single day, and took a sudden break and now I have to build that momentum again. The best part of being socially isolated or in lockdown mode is that I can meditate, or at least I have a time to meditate at any given time. So I guess what I'm gonna do is fix a specific time. Maybe from tomorrow onwards, I'm gonna meditate at 5 p.m. Eastern and do that as long as I can until this lockdown is uplifted. Uh, but other than that, at least having that schedule will motivate me to, meditate and also show you guys my amazing face so that you can laugh at it, I guess. But I sincerely hope that you all are taking care of yourself because it's not just about you, it's also about other people. So think about this as a human experiment. And sure, it might be an over exaggeration compared to some of the plagues and viruses we have dealt with in the past few decades or centuries for that matter. This might be over exaggeration, but think about it in a way where this human experiment can contain this virus in a timely manner. If we choose not to practice this social isolation for a few weeks, then what may end up happening is uh, that the entire world will get infected. Who knows? We already might be. But at the same time, 2% of the people, 2% of the most vulnerable people will be critical and may even die. Um, it's very likely that it's going to be between 1 to 2% of the total infected population. So it's better if not everyone get infected, and the best way to do that is to practice social isolation. And also use this social isolation to reflect on what has been happening in your life for say past 4 or 5 years or 2 years or even 1 year for that matter, and where do you see yourself in next year, 3 years, 5 years, or a decade. uh, and trust me, it's not too late for any age. Even if you're 70, it's still not too late to have that reflection of your life and then create this focus of where you see yourself in a year or two. Especially this coronavirus is a wake up call for a lot of people who have not been taking their health seriously. So that's a good focus to, or that's a good um, insight to focus on for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, because regardless of your age, you can always improve your health. Uh, if you don't believe me, go and watch some of these inspirational, motivated videos where people who are like, I don't know, 70s, in their 70s or 80s, even turn the ship around by getting rid of their lifelong obesity, or gained muscles, or made their body flexible. The best part of human body is that our body adapt to the change very quickly, and the worst part of our body is that it's a just a meat bag, so it's pretty vulnerable to a lot of things, including small viruses. But the best way to have a good life is to have a healthy body, because without a healthy body, it doesn't matter how long you live, it's not gonna be a joyful, fulfilled life. So taking care of your body should be your number one priority, regardless of where you are in your life situation. Because even if you're poor, and even if you don't have all the means, think about this. If you don't take care of yourself, your family will suffer because of that as well. So one of the most selfless thing you can do is to take care of yourself, which is kind of uh, ironical because the the most benefiting person in that case would be you. And that being said, I'm guilty of this. I fall on this trajectory plenty of times. I'm on a path to make my health better, and then one day out of nowhere I just sink down, and it takes me a while to build up again, and then uh, again I fall off the cliff. So one of my focuses is to make sure that when I'm going through this downward cycle or downward phase, so to speak, how I can keep my things together and continue to focus on how I want to improve my life. And for every one of us, it's a different method, especially we all have different trigger points, and the best way to leverage these trigger points is to make these triggers work in our favor. So one of the things which I'm gonna practice from today, like I said, is to meditate at 5 p.m. Eastern every single day. um, as long as I can do it, as long as my other responsibilities permit me. And the other thing which I want to incorporate in my life, at least for this lockdown period, is to sleep on time. Because one of the reason why my entire past week or two were messed up is because I was sleeping at, I don't know, 3 4 a.m. and then I have to wake up at whatever time I have to wake up with, uh, lack of sleep, and that kind of add on that kind of stack on to the other stresses and other things. So one of the things which I will be implementing from today or tonight is to sleep on time, and that could be 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. I haven't decided that yet, but somewhere in between uh, that time, 11 to 12, so that I can wake up early and then uh, do a little bit of stretch, and maybe a few yoga moves and whatnot uh, to kind of make my body flexible, because for the rest of tomorrow and day after and the day after and the day after, until we who knows when, I'm gonna be logged into this kind of beautiful apartment. So that's yeah, that's a new thing, and I think that a lot of people will benefit by creating these new patterns. And this is the best time to kind of uh, pause and see what kind of new patterns you want to create in your life. And one of the best thing of this lockdown is, we'll be locked in for 3 weeks or so, and apparently a new habit takes 21 days. So this look like, perfect way to create new habits, new patterns into your life, and you don't have to be hung up with your old patterns. Because the way I look at things, a lot of these patterns or habits or addictions are, um, you know, uh, those are the result of different experiences. So if you change your experience in the next 21 days, it will create a new pattern. And trust me, it's very difficult to kind of hang on to new pattern. Plenty of times, your old pattern, your old habit, your old addiction kind of suck you back in. But that's where you need the support. That's where you need the mindset. That's where you need the discipline, I'm throwing out all of these words, and trust me, I'm falling short on plenty of these things in my personal life as well. And that's why I feel that I should be expressing these, especially in live stream. That way I'm reminding myself that these are the um, features, or these are the characteristics I want to develop within my life, within myself. And there are plenty of things which which helps at different time, I guess. Right now, one of the battle I'm having within myself is discipline, and to stay disciplined, and you know, no matter what. So yeah, that's one of the focuses in my life. And I'm sure this next 21 days will be a life changing, and I am committing to live stream at 5 p.m. every single day for the next 21 days. And this is one of the discipline I'm gonna, build on. And and on top of that, um, let's do this. Why not? Oh, I shouldn't be touching my face. Why not? Uh, I'll be talking about one specific characteristic I want to cultivate within my life every single day for, next 21 days. So uh, today is all about discipline, I guess. And I believe discipline is one of those characteristics which separates successful people with could have been successful person. You know, if you don't have natural talent for anything, which majority of us doesn't, we could be naturally talented in one or the other aspects of life. But if you feel that you need to be uh, cultivating a talent, a craft, a new pattern, all of that need discipline. And there are plenty of people who I follow to kind of, in some sense, um, gain discipline from their talks and the things they do. And I'll be honest, like it's very difficult. uh, Discipline is one of the toughest thing. Why? Because it requires a strong mindset, because no one can convince you about anything else. I can tell you, I can try to wake you up, let's just say at 5 a.m. every single morning, but unless you have discipline to do that, it's not going to be fruitful. So support does help, but discipline comes from within. And a lot of, in my experience, a lot of times I become disciplined when I find something motivation. Let's just say if I find a motivation to earn money, then I'll be disciplined and focus on my work. Likewise, when I'm motivated to get better at, say, comedy, then I'm disciplined and go to open mics almost every single night. So I feel that motivation is one of the attribute of discipline. It's there, like, kind of sort of twined together, and yeah, each feed other up. Like, if I'm disciplined enough and just show up, then I become motivated enough to do that. Like, plenty of times I didn't want to go to aikido, right? But I'm just disciplined enough and just go there and show up. And automatically, before I know, I'm on mat. Before I know, the class is finished, and before I know, I feel good because of all the workout I got. So I feel that motivation and discipline are sort of intertwined, and if you need discipline of some sort, it's better to find something motivational. It could be a motivational talk, it could be a motivational, I don't know, maybe a writing or a paragraph, or create your own motivation. Like, what drives your motivation? Just write it down in your journal, and put it on like a, I don't know, like a sticky note or somewhere, and put it on your fridge, so that every single time you walk around that, you see it, and you notice that, yeah, this is the reason why you are doing what you're doing. So there are a lot of motivational tidbits you can find, and the better strategy, which I think, or I use in my personal life, is to spread across those into various part of my life. So at times I have this, giant mirror in my living room, so I just write some motivational thing on that. So whenever I'm passing by, at least I'm looking at it, and okay, it kind of reminds me of why I wrote those things, and what and how it helps me to make my life fulfilling, I guess. And that also motivate me to take action and be disciplined with my action and keep doing it. You know, so yeah, let me know if you have a better strategy of motivating yourself or staying disciplined, because discipline is a huge factor which will differentiate you from, I don't know, I'm making up numbers, but 80% of the rest of the world. So if you are disciplined and focused to practice one single task every single day, then trust me, you will be miles ahead, light years ahead of like anyone in the world. That kind of reminds me of Brett Lee's quote, and obviously I'm gonna be paraphrasing it because I don't remember it verbatim. But his quote was something on the lines that, I don't fear the person who knows 10,000 moves. I'm scared of the person who has practiced one move 10,000 times. So that's the power of focus and discipline. With that note, I guess I should be disciplined and get started for my 1 hour long vipassana meditation, because it's almost 5. So and meditation is one of the best thing you can do during this lockdown period, even though I have been skipping it, like an hour long ritual meditation for past couple of weeks. But that being said, do meditation or mindfulness, because that will help you to release the stress. And trust me, I get it. Like, if you're living with your family, you might be more stressful because you may not be useful. Excuse me, you may not be used to spend so much time with your family. 24 hours straight, or minus the sleeping hours, but also for weeks without going out, without having different way to release that stress and tension. So, and on top of that, a lot of people might be stressed because of the other factors, like, stressful because of the job, stressful because of their business, stressful because of their financial situation, or their health situation, and you can name it, like relationships or any other attribute of their lives. So meditation will definitely help you with that. And how do I know that? Because personally, I've experienced the fruits of meditation, but also at the logical level, when you're meditating, you're directing your focus from whatever your, you know, thoughts are focused on negatively, technique specifically, to something which is in a way neutral. So in Vipassana technique, when you're focusing on your breath, it's neutral, and thoughts will arise, that it always does. And then when you bring back your focus to your breath, uh, you would observe and notice that those thoughts kind of fade away. And stress is a symptom of most of those thoughts. I mean, physical stress is a symptom of workout. You know, if you work out, if you lift weights, then your muscles will automatically become a bit stressful. Or if you're like, you know, clammed in a space or something, yeah, your body will become stressful. But as long as you can stretch, you can alleviate that stress. But a lot of our stress is mental, because of our thoughts, because of how people react to us, or because of how we think people react to us, you know, and a lot of other things in that, you know, in those thoughts spectrum. But the point I'm making is, be mindful, practice meditation, and you would escape from those stress. And you would also observe that the more you meditate, or the if you meditate consistently, then you will get better at managing those stress. You will get better at handling those stress when it's like, you know, very very initial phases, rather than like, you know, let the stress build up. Anyways, I'm gonna set an alarm for an hour and practice meditation using Vipassana technique, which is to focus on my breath, and also observe the sensations throughout my body. So it's a fascinating technique, because you don't have to do anything at all. All you need to do is just sit and, yeah, just focus on your body and breath as they are experiencing reality in real time. You're not driving anything. You're not making yourself breathe in a specific pattern, like, you know, deep breath versus shallow breath. You're just observing the natural flow. All right. Cool. So I will see you in an hour. Hey, thanks for streaming this live meditation session. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay